Scott.
I'm now.
And today we're going to do an unboxing of the Wild Book Box.
I've been trying a couple of these sort of book subscription services lately because
You really like the idea of them, don't you?
I like the idea of a surprise.
Well, we're going to actually review this. So if the books in there are rubbish, we're going to say they're rubbish. Because that's what we do.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, clearly not paid sponsorship
Because, yeah, we're going to bag it if they're rubbish. And if they're good, we're going to say it's good. But what I think
But
it's...
also because we've only got like 5 people watching. 5 very appreciated people.
Yeah. I think it's quality over quantity here.
Yes.
We have all the quality subscribers and none of the filler subscribers.
No filler queens here.
Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to go through the sign-up process. So the first thing you do is you go to wildbookbox.com.au.
Yeah, so it's an Aussie book box, which is... You guys have Book of the Month, which seems really cool, but we can't get it. So...
Yeah, so this is... I don't know if they ship international, do you know?
This one, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure Australian shipping was included in the price. So, they may not.
They may not. So, you go there and you can choose a one book a month box, a one-time purchase 1 book a month box, a 3 book a month box, or a 2 book a month box. Interestingly, they put it in that order, which clearly must be the popularity of them.
Yeah, they use WordPress and it's sorted by popularity.
Yeah, so we got the 3 book a month box because we wanted to see it. That costs you $39.95, which translates to about 25 pence or
but
2 buttons and.
But in comparison to the other book subscriptions that I've tried, we get another book subscription for $35 a month, and that only gets us one new book, and I believe these are pre-loved.
Yeah, these are second-hand, according to the website I've just seen.
Yeah.
It's actually, you're about half it for both USD and pounds, so...
Yeah.
Anyway, so when you click on it, the first thing it asks you is select as many categories as you would like, and I'll just put all the categories up there, but you can see it's a huge inclusive list. There must be about 20 categories, so I'm just going to collect the first 2 so I can see the next step. Then the next step is themes. So instead of asking you whether you like fantasy or crime, this is asking you whether you like satire, whether you like gritty, light-hearted, so on and so forth. So I'm just going to click good versus evil, heroism, love, and female leads. These are all examples you can have.
So when I filled this out, I only clicked buttons that I felt that husband and I agree on. So it's probably the smallest part of our Venn diagram. I think we have similar enough taste that it's actually unusual for one of us to loathe the book and the other to love it.
The Wasp Factory.
But but it's unusual.
Yeah. Now the next step is, can you let us know the last couple of books you've really enjoyed? So we didn't put the most recent ones. We put down books that we agree on, that we
and
rate
I tried to put 2
highly.
or 3 that were like quite different.
So we put Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi on there. We put East of Eden by John Steinbeck on there. And was it a Margaret Atwood or...
No, I think it was Eleanor Oliphant. I think that's what it was.
And I think it's quite a diverse few picks. Maybe Tender as the Flesh?
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. So that's what we can't even remember the books we put in there, but we definitely put East of Eden, and we definitely put Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi in there.
Yeah. Then
the next step is to link them with your Goodreads account, so they
tell them anything extra that you want to tell them. So it's a good place to tell them if you prefer no content warnings for sexual assault or anything like that. But I just told them that it was 2 of us sharing the subscription, and I gave them the links to both of our Goodreads.
What I've really liked with this sign-up process is I really feel like if I wanted to read more books written by queer authors, I could do that.
Yeah, I feel like we could say we want more representative. There is someone who is specifically choosing our books.
They've said in their wording on the website, your book curator.
Yeah, it feels fun.
Oh, it's good. Now, we have 3 books. Now, you signed it up, so I'll hold the box and you can unwrap now.
Yeah. I really like when you open it, all the shreddies. It's pages from a book. I hope a shit book.
I can't believe they did that to a book.
I hope it was a terrible... Maybe it's the Wasp Factory.
No, it has to be a terrible book.
So in the first one, you don't have to hold it up the whole time. That's alright. I got a magnet. I think this is really cute. A day without reading is like ... Just kidding. I have no idea. That's super cute. And a happy Christmas bookmark with their branding on it. I think that's always handy to get a new bookmark.
That is.
And each book is wrapped in brown paper with a little simple raffia ribbon, but makes it feel like Christmas. And it's all a bit Christmassy. I don't know if you can see, but they've like put a little stamp.
Oh, I didn't see that stamp.
It's like a little bauble.
Oh, there's presents on this one.
Reminds me of my childhood. I used to have this set of stamps. I used to make our family Christmas cards and wrapping paper with them.
All right. So let's see if we've heard of these books as well. I'm quite curious.
Yeah, super interesting. I think part of it is like, for me, it's about breaking out of the booktube bubble a little bit.
Now.
Wow. So this is Days Without End, which was 2016 Costa Book of the Year and longlisted for the Booker in 2017.
Sebastian Barry?
I feel like I've seen this cover recently.
Well, the first thing I thought was it looked like a bit of a thriller, but having won the Costa Awards and been longlisted for the Booker, I suspect that it might be a bit more literary fiction, or commercial fiction.
Well, they've got a true left field wonder, a sweeping vision of America in the making from Kazuo Ishiguro.
Well, Ishiguro likes it. That's a good sign.
After signing up for the US Army in the 1850s, aged barely 17, Thomas McNulty and his brother-in-arms John Cole fight in the Indian Wars and the Civil War. Having both fled terrible hardships, their days are now vivid and filled with wonder, despite the horrors they see and are complicit in. Then, when a young Indian girl crosses their path, the possibility of lasting happiness seems within reach, if only they can survive.
So as far as the quality of this book goes, there's a little bit, I don't know if you can see, just a little bit around the edges. It's like slightly dog-eared at these edges.
Yeah, if you were picking on that, it'd be
but
a fussy booker.
I mean, and the cover is a little bit crinkled there, but I think this is a fine. Like, I don't think there's anything.
No, I mean, look what I have to read sometimes. Dog chewed.
dog chewed. Yeah, nobody's puppy has gotten hold of this.
No. All right, next book.
Next book, you can have this one. Also, let's have a look. How many pages did we get? 299, 301 pages of relatively large, well-spaced text, which is a good size. I think 300 pages is about the size of a book.
What's the size of the book?
I should say, neither of us have read this book. So if you have read Days Without End by Sebastian
Or if you've heard of it, because I haven't even heard it. It's not on my radar at all.
Yeah.
Ooh, this has got something else in it. Oh. It says, this month's wild book is The Discomfort of Evening, which was
Is there something in this
the International Booker Prize, the winner of the International Booker. We chose this because you like modern lit, award-winning female leads. Happy reading.
Oh, I like the note.
So they've told us why they gave it, but I have seen this on that list that Sue's posted.
On Facebook?
Yeah, so a friend of ours posted a list of basically all the big award winners. Definitely targeted at Australians because it included all the Australian awards.
Like the Miles Franklin Award and stuff.
Yeah. But this is the 2020 International Booker Prize winner, The Discomfort of Evening, which I know nothing about except that it was a prize winner.
The 2020 International Booker Prize.
Yeah, so this is like...
So,
it might not be...
Now, I'm confused because there was controversy that the Booker Prize opened up to international...
No, I think
writers.
this is a different prize.
I know that they...
But the little logo is very similar, so they must be affiliated.
Well, I know they used to be the Booker and the Booker International, but I thought that they sort of merged.
Well, maybe they're both still running and that's why it's controversial, because it's supposed to be all in,
Well, I wonder what the difference is. but
we will figure that out.
we'll have a look at that. But this is exciting.
This feels new. The edges are a little bit rough, so on like the laminating of the book of the cover, so it might be like a second. But if I bought this to you in a bookshop, I would not even be looking at that. I would not even question.
Yeah, that's it's been cut wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they might have gotten like a bargain, but honestly, I'm expecting secondhand books, and that's clearly new.
I don't know if you can. No, it doesn't even come up. Or maybe that.
It's so like such a. I want to read the back.
Oh, you want to read the back?
10-year-old Jazz has a unique way of experiencing the universe. The feeling of udder ointment on her skin as protection against harsh winters. The texture of green warts like capers on migrating toads. The sound of blush words that aren't in the Bible. But when a tragic accident ruptures the family, her curiosity warps into a vortex of increasingly disturbing fantasies, unlocking a darkness that threatens to derail them all. I realise after reading that I've definitely heard of it.
Well, that sounds interesting.
It does sound interesting.
So there's two books that, again, if you've heard of this book, if you've read this book, let us know. There's your last one. But there's two books I'm curious on. But I to be honest, you've heard of that one. I haven't. So.
I suspect we might end up with a second copy of that one.
The Discomfort of Evening.
Yeah.
Oh, it might be one coming in the mail.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, we might have to update our Goodreads to include all the books that we actually own rather than only updating with the ones we read.
Could create a new shelf.
Yeah.
Because I've created a shelf for my DNFs. I'm relatively sure you can.
But that would not be on my shelf anyway because I haven't actually done it.
Yeah, but you do it when
I'm not sure I ordered it, but I was definitely in the selection process.
Do it when you order it rather than when it arrives.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm being real fussy with these, I don't know why. Blood. We choose this because you like Australian literature, family, tragedy.
Ooh.
By Tony Birch. Again, this looks new. I mean, it's not new, but it looks new. Jesse has sworn to protect his sister Rachel no matter what. It's a promise that cannot be broken, a promise made in blood. But when it comes down to life or death, how can he find the courage to keep it? Set on the back roads of Australia, Blood is a boy's odyssey through a broken down adult world.
That sounds good.
Sounds good. These all sound really good to me.
So, I've just found
I missed the first one.
Yeah.
So they tell you why they picked them.
So this is really good. So Days Without End, we chose this book because you like historical fiction, gritty, award-winning. Happy reading the Wild Book Box.
So this is our stack.
So that's cool. So what did we get? We got Two Men and a Woman.
Yep.
We'll do a quick.
No, is Tony Birch a boy, Tony?
Is it an I or a Y?
It's a Y, but
I mean, we'll do a check. Because we're going off the names, and that is really dangerous. Especially you can have.
No, he's a boy. He's a Melbourne boy.
He's a Melbourne boy.
Yeah. Teaches at Melbourne
University.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. You could have studied under him.
Could have, didn't.
I definitely didn't study under him.
I know, wrong department, wrong university.
They move around.
I can't see an author being in the physics department.
No.
Just saying. I thought that was fun.
I'm actually excited about these books. I haven't heard of any of them, and so I guess the proof will be in the reading. But That's always the case with a book.
Yes. Also, I feel like this has injected some interest into our selection process. Like, I don't feel like we would have necessarily, other than the one that I think I may have bought.
I feel like when you buy books, you tend to buy along a little bit of a theme. You tend to go, I want to read all the Booker prizes, so you buy everything on the Booker prize, or you go, oh, I really want to read
all of Octavia Butler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And therefore sometimes you just miss out on just random interesting books that you would have bought if you weren't.
But I also think that these could potentially be new rabbit holes for us to follow.
Exactly, and that every book is a new rabbit hole, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's what's exciting about these subscription services is the potential for them to be good enough for you to fall down a rabbit hole. And this is the first time that I've gotten a selection and been really intrigued. The other one that we're getting that's new, I'm interested, but like a tenth of as interested as I am in this.
Yeah, 3 books for $40, so $13.30 a book, roughly.
Yeah.
If
not bad,
if you got a new book for $13.30, you would expect it to be like a Vintage or a Penguin or like
something cheap.
Something, yeah, mass market, and something like you could get Jane Eyre for that price, but you couldn't get a Quaker Maisie for that price.
Yeah, for sure.
Which, you know, just to give you an idea. Yeah. Well, this is not the usual content that we make, but did you guys like this?
Tell us what you think about this book box.
And we'll have a look. We'll see whether the authors are queer, straight,
and
man,
these will make it
woman.
onto our TBRs, and we'll read them and talk about them when we get to them.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Bye.
We've just done a quick Google, and I want to mention that this is quite a diverse little stack. I'm pretty stoked. Sebastian Barry is a straight white dude, so
Irish.
Yeah. Marika Lucas, those are both of their both first names that they choose to use because they identify as both male and female. So I imagine that if they're feeling a bit lady, then they are Marika, and if they're feeling a bit gentleman, then they are Lucas. And I think that is cool, and I want 2 names.
That's like gender fluidity on the day, like depending on
theoretically to the minute.
To the minute, yeah.
Mean? Like you could really get into. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
And Tony Birch is Indigenous. So
Indigenous Australian.
So that's awesome representation in 3 books. So I just wanted to.
We should.
Sorry. They.
They're Dutch.
Yes, so it's a book in translation as well. So I'm really happy with that. Like, if I was selecting for myself and trying to maintain consciousness about diversity, that's about the stats I'd get.
Yeah, I think that's how I would like to. Out of 3 books, we've got. Bryn, just leave it alone until we clear it up. Yeah. One person who fits in the queer spectrum and in the non-binary gender, which is very hard to find. One Indigenous Australian, which, I mean, they're not African American black, but black.
It's a person of colour.
But even though,
and to be honest, in as far as voices we hear in Australia need to be amplified more than pretty much anyone.
Yeah, actually, we would read more African American authors than we would Indigenous Australian.
Like I have read more people of colour from every other country than I have
from Australia.
I
wonder if is that something that you all struggle with, because it must be, I mean, ingrained racism or just not hearing about it, or
is the Indigenous of your own country the quietest voice?
Yeah, or is that just because
Australians are proper racists?
I mean,
not all of us,
but like for us, there's no follow the leader. Let's do this. We have to lead ourselves and find it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
Wherewith, if you want to read more black authors, just Google. You just do a search on YouTube,
and
you'll find a list.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure there's lists of Australian Indigenous.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway,
a bit of a tangent.
that's
How
a
am I
whole
house?
discussion video.
Bye.